more or less when I was living in this area when I was a young boy, growing up, I would have heard bombs going off and I would have heard shooting at night. And where my auntie lived was in a wee street right down at beside the Peace Line. It was called the Peace Line then, it's called an interface today. All these modern words. Just when I seen riot and street violence and going through the 70s, uh, being aware that there was something going on, being very young but knowing there was violence going on around me, noticing my parents being very anxious, starting to notice that when you went into the town centre you were getting searched by the army and searched by the police, uh, growing tensions in the area towards nationalists and Catholics as they were attacking my area and shooting people in the streets that we came from. Just being very aware at 7, 8, 9 years of age that there was something different going on.
But not really sure exactly what it was.
No, being a young person, not really aware of life and societies, but aware that there was something going on because everybody was tense, everybody was watching the news. News became the most important TV program because you heard of different bombs, different shootings, different things going on. So,
did your parents influence you at all?
No, my parents were just ordinary working people. Father worked in the same job for 40 years. Mother worked in local shops. Have 4 older sisters. Just an ordinary Protestant family living a normal life.
So as you got older, how did things change?
Well, as you get older, you move into secondary school, which would be age 12, 13. You became more of a young man. You see what's going on more. You get involved in maybe some street violence yourself, and it was quite easy to get involved in that. The peace line's not far up the street, and rioting was daily occurrences. So you seen it from the periphery when you were 12, 13. You got involved in it from your 14, 15. Uh, there was always attacks from the nationalist Catholic side, so we reacted to that, and I'm sure, looking back, they did as well. So street violence was pretty easy to get involved in at that early age.
Was it attractive?
No, that's talked about today in the modern sort of sense. In them days, it was a necessity because our streets was getting attacked, and the older men and the younger men from around the area seen it as defending their streets, seen it as they're under attack from Republicans and under attack from the IRA. The police couldn't do nothing. The police had that many rules and conditions on them. They could not do anything basically. So we felt that our areas was just totally under attack.
Was it just a one-way attack, or were you guys fighting back onto their side too?
Oh, of course, the best form of defence is attack. So it was come and go. There's a myth out there that Nationalists was burnt out of their houses. I have relatives that was burnt out of their houses. I have relatives that was shot out of houses. It's a complete myth. It's a frustrating fact. Well, it's a frustrating myth that the whole world thinks that the downtrodden Catholic people was overrun by this marauding, aggressive Protestant. The Protestants were just as attacked, and in fact more, by Republicans, and from my experience and my belief.
So what year is this? When you're
mid 70s, 75, 76, 77. I was
about 12?
Just turned into a teenager, yeah.
Okay, so then you become a teenager.
Well, teenager I started to notice because where we lived there was local chippies and young men used to hang about. You were aware that there was an organisation called UVF. You were aware that there was an organisation called UDA, and you were aware of the IRA. But at that stage, you knew, you understood it was commonplace. By this stage, by the time I got to my teenage years, the conflict was in full flow. It was normal life. It was 77, 78. A lot of the young men had been disappearing from the area. I hadn't a clue where they'd been going. It was kept from you, but they were all going to prison. Long case became just like the bison move, and they moved from our area. They moved to Long Case instead of going grazing somewhere else. It seemed like that to me. I thought we were all told we were going away from to work. Could they keep you sort of innocent? But they were going to Long Case, and then after that they were going to the H block. So you became aware that there was a struggle on. You became aware that men was lost their lives. You became aware that people was going to prison for what they believed in. And from a very young age, I was very, very political about that, and very, very bitter towards the Roman Catholic nationalist Republican community.
Were you able to separate Catholics between Republicans?
Not at that stage. I had been hurt, and my family had been hurt, and friends had been hurt. We had friends from school that had been blown up. I had old neighbours from where I come from, down York Street. It was just a very working class the docks area of Belfast who was mutilated and cut up with knives. So I seen that everything Catholic is everything enemy. I associated everything horrible in life with Catholics because that's who was doing it. I didn't differentiate at that stage, no.
Did you see their I guess killings, murders, beatings as political from their side, or are they just doing it to harm your community?
At that age, I just seen they hated us, and they wanted to hurt us. They didn't like us. They didn't like anything that I stood for. They didn't like my religion. They didn't like my Britishness. They didn't like my flag, and they just seen us as they wanted us out of this country. And I didn't see anything political about it at all. Totally sectarian, totally bigoted, and totally trying to tramp us back into the sea. There's documentation of Sinn Féin states that they will run, the rivers will run with Anglo-Saxon blood and will wash them into the sea. So we believe that.
Okay. So 70s are coming to an end into the 80s. What's going on in your life?
80s, again, you move up in that in 16, 17, and I got involved in bands, and I got involved with working more with welfare systems to try and support prisoners, to try and support families. Would have been involved again still in street violence. I was a big supporter of NPSI, big supporter of any rallies, big supporter of anything political. I was starting to get very politically motivated. Seeing it that it was not a religious thing, seeing it was more a political thing, started to understand that concept. Supporter big time of the Ulster Volunteer Force, Rail Hand Commando, believed in every action they were taking and believed that they should get stronger. So I've moved from, and I was starting to think more of moving into military action and supporting the military movement rather than the welfare movement. And I seen street violence as futile because we were wrecking our own areas by attacking the other area. So it was a few years of thinking. My phone, sorry.
So you joined the Ulster Volunteer Force. You're a young man. How does your life sort of develop more of a military role?
Well, I was married at this stage and I had a child, and I actually backed off for a while and kept quiet.
Can you just repeat that in reference to the year that this was?
82, 83. Bad years, hunger strikes was going on 81, just finishing, a lot of street violence. The IRA started doing a lot of political targets, started a lot of military targets. What I believe was the catalyst with myself and friends was the Good Friday, Anglo-Irish Agreement, which was an agreement made with the British government and the Irish government. It was not a democratically run agreement. It was imposed on the people of Northern Ireland that the people from the Republic would have a say in our affairs. And to me in 1985, that was a lost straw. I believe there was a whole campaign, a struggle for the movement to be more militant. Both organisations recruited heavily. A lot of young men got involved, and a lot of men who had been previously involved re-engaged because they seen it as a total sellout. There's massive demonstration. There was maybe 250,000 people went to the City Hall in Belfast, more or less because if it had been voted in or sold to us, it was imposed, and we just thought that the British and Irish government are on a sellout campaign, and Northern Ireland will go into Republic, and young people decided when we're going to have it, so we formed a group called the Red Hand Commando. Around about that stage.
What was Red Hand Commando?
It's a sister organisation of the Ulster Volunteer Force. Small units, only 5 companies around the city.
What kind of things would you guys be involved in?
Well, it was targeting Republicans. It was not to fight Catholics. It was totally to attack Republicans. It was to attack the command structure of the Republican movement, specifically the IRA. And that's what happened for the next 5-6 years.
And what was day-to-day life like for you?
You were trying to feed your family, you were trying to fight, your wife didn't see you that much, your associates and yourself were living a life on your nerves. You were always waiting on either being arrested or being assassinated. There was many attempts on friends' lives, many attempts on people's lives. It was very, very stressful. Very, you never had a minute. That would mean that every day you were thinking about what was going on. You were planning. You were working for a move. You were trying to ascertain weapons. You were trying to get explosives, or else you were trying to plant them or use them.
Was there a sort of a mental process in becoming comfortable with the concept of murdering someone?
Well, it's not a journey I don't think any normal citizen or human being sets out on. I think conflict's a crazy situation that breeds conflict. Uh, in a circle of people who are committed, in a circle of people who have one goal, I think each act justifies another act. And when you stay within that circle, all bets are off, in a sense of, we agree with each other, we are focused with each other, so there's nobody from outside that group that's going to challenge you. So you're focused on what you're doing. So the thought of you were wrong never entered the equation. The thought of this is not right never entered the equation, and you just get on with it. So there's nobody challenging you because everybody was focused on the same objective. Do you understand what I'm saying?